All right, confession time. I love copying. I love copying art. It is so satisfying. I love to like nail it exactly right. It's just personally fires me up. But I know for about a million reasons, it is so important for me to be able to make art my own as well. So if you've ever harbored any feelings of guilt about copying or using references or copyright issues, please watch this video. This was made specifically for you and also me. So historically, from the beginning of my very late blooming art career, I've super struggled with ways to make art mine. To combat this, because I have to come up with tons of new lessons every single month for all of my art clubs and books and whatnot, I have come up with a systematic number of things that help me and remind me of things that I can do to help make art that's mine. So in this video, let's start there. I was completely blown away by two members that are a part of Awesome Art School, their creativity and how they took the script that I had given them through their lessons and went and springboarded it into something totally creative and on their own. So I'm also gonna be sharing little snippets from interviews from them so they can also share and help us all develop art that is more our own. Okay, first of all, copying to learn is not bad ever, like ever. When the cavemen were painting buffaloes and bison on the inside of their caves, they were painting after having just looked at the buffalo, okay? All of the great masters from the beginning of time, they were looking at real people and scenes and situations when they were painting. They were painting from real life. And that is how we have always learned to draw. So there shouldn't be any guilt associated with drawing and creating art when it comes to copying. There are a lot of reasons why copying and not making art your own is super important for building our skills. However, there are a lot of reasons why it is not good to copy as an artist, right? And the one that jumps out at us the loudest, obviously, are copyright concerns, which is legit. And also, can I just fast forward saying, I actually just came up with recently a huge list of all these resources online, paid and free, that you can get copyright-free images. I will talk more about that later. Here are some other reasons that maybe you hadn't thought of or considered other than copyright that it's so important to make art your own. Number one, it creates and really builds your creative confidence. Think how much more confidence you're gonna have after creating your first piece ever, where you copied some elements and then you changed up a whole bunch, and then you know that that one new one doesn't belong to anyone else except for you. That's a really powerful, really good feeling. And don't you think that then that will also encourage you to maybe try that again? And then maybe try that again? And then maybe you try it the fourth time, you try a different way to change up this thing that you're copying and make it your own? That is literally the definition of building up your confidence. And at the same time, that brings us right to number two, which is improving your skills because you're practicing. And this goes back to my favorite little acronym that I invented for my members, because I'm a weirdo, which is FART, which is you start with fun. Attitude is wicked important. Number three is repetition, okay? So that you get better. And then the last one is actually techniques. And it isn't until you combine all of those elements that you actually build your skills, hence the S in farts. I know, I'm 12, but it will help you remember what your priorities are when you're becoming a better artist. Which brings me to number three. It really helps you to tell your personal story. I am terrible about this. Like, this is my weakest point, I think, as an artist, absolutely. Which is why I've reached out to some of my members so they can help me improve upon this very important aspect, but I think it can also be a ton of fun. And so this is something I'm gonna be working on personally over the next few years, decades, probably the rest of my life to get better at. Okay, well, thank you so much for saying yes.
Yeah, I was very flattered.
Well, these are why I had to talk to you. I just had to talk to you. Look at your beautiful, look at all your grid of awesomeness. You are a club member. You're a Wonder Bundle member at Awesome Hearts.
Yes, ma'am.
You, which means Marianne is in all the clubs. I saw your work online. I mean, people do amazing things every single day.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So there's about 100 people I wanted to interview, but recently these have been really smacking me in the face and in the best way ever possible. And I really wanted to pick your brain because this is a topic of like of using references and lessons, but also like copyright and creativity.
Yes.
And you, I feel like, are an immediate example of like doing so many things right, right? Because I
Well,
can see you're copying to learn, and you're also making everything your own. So, what is your name? Where are you from?
my name is Marianne Turville, and I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, born and raised.
Like, what made you even want to put them all together and put your own twist on it in the first place?
I
Was it like
just
instinct
I sat
or?
there and I was thinking about him, and I was trying to get my mom back into drawing, and because she's brilliant, and especially with oils, I won't even touch oils, but she just so I thought, well, maybe we can do this together. And then the other bit came out, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do these. I'm gonna make some scenes with them because one of the things I do at work is I write social stories for
Okay.
children who need to learn how to communicate, maybe behave in a certain way, the whole class. And you can buy them. I like to make them specific to what I'm doing. You can buy clip art and do it. And I'm
Yeah,
like, it's kind of bleh. So really one of my goals is to do that and put my own illustrations with it. There is one artist author that I absolutely adore and love besides you that has that talent. And it's like I feel like I've missed the boat on this, but but something similar to that. And I thought these would be a good practice for illustrating. I
that's
really
amazing.
did. I thought putting this together would be just really good practice in thinking and putting that together. I mean, I hope that makes sense, but
Yeah, no,
it's
I
really
think
just
that
practice for me to do something later on.
yeah, no, but that's like so valid. I mean, there's no wrong way to be creative, and that's also like
Mm-mm.
a lot of part of this, right? Is that like copying
Mm-hmm.
is right. Like working from references is right. There's nothing ever
Mm-hmm.
wrong
Oh,
about doing
yeah.
that, especially when you're learning. But I'm particularly interested in because I know you got the characters for my books, which is great, and you are also following the directions and looking at the reference, and so you're also increasing your own drawing skills as you're
Right. Yeah.
copying them. So there's like tertiary and secondary benefits to all this. But I am superly particularly interested in how you made decisions on all of the other pieces that are not found in the book that you added, like elements like the moon and the like the camping tent. Like you set themes
Ye-
and scenes which
ye-
are not which I do have in my books, which you are not using. You are using your own.
No,
Where's
it's
those
funny
ideas coming
because
from?
I played your message in front of my husband. I'm like, oh my God, look who wants to talk to me. I mean, it's just a total awe. And he goes, well, how would you answer that question? And I looked at him and went, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I think part of it is truly because I've read children's books for 21 years, and telling stories with kids and having them tell me their stories. And I think it's just something from doing that for so many years, it's just kind of,
Okay.
making up, teaching children to write
Okay. So you're
and come up with their own ideas and imagination and
yeah.
labeling. They start with labeling pictures. They start with shapes, and I teach them to draw from shapes, and then they build into that. Then they label the pictures. Then they write about it, and with their illustrations, I'm like, well, what else could you add? What else could we do with it? So I think it kind of comes from that teaching background of it.
Fascinating. I really love. I love that. I started out with teaching kids as well.
Oh,
Um,
I saw that. Yeah.
so having they are so much more imaginative than adults because they are all for so many reasons, but having access
Oh,
to
they're
all this
amazing.
looking they are amazing. So I love that you are using your background, but also their background and their imaginations seem to be what's helping, keep yours alive, right? As like someone who's later on in life. That is actually so cool. And the reason I'm also asking is I've compiled a list and I had a list of 9 over the course of the years of like ways that people can make things to help make things their own, to like trigger these
It's
ideas
hard. Yeah.
while they're creating, because it is hard. And I've gotten it up to 20 items now. So this is why I wanted to talk to people that are not me. Like what are your like what literally like what items can we add to this list that are not on my list of 20, on how you come up with your own ideas, because building on something that you are copying from someone else, it counts as something new. I mean, it's a new composition, it's a new scene, it's a new
It is. Well,
story.
and it's, for example, like I use a lot of humor. I grew up with humorous parents, and my husband is. I mean, it's just how I want to. I surround my people's, my people in my life are like that. You've got to have wit, sense of humor, otherwise, you know. But
Mhm.
for instance, this is when I was working on. I brought it with me to show because I did something, and then I'm like, no, let's make it a little more humorous. And so, like, I've got, I hope you can see it. It's in the pencil. I don't know if you can see it with the light,
Yep, I see.
but it's got Manny over here.
Yep.
She's chilling on the
Zara.
beach with Carl. And I
Yep.
thought, I've got the shark in the background. I'm like, well, why not? I'm going to raise him. I'm going to put him on top of a wave where he's like kind of hanging 10,
Oh,
put him
yeah,
on
yeah.
top of a wave and then put the shark underneath. So I'm actually going to change that.
Hilarious. Okay, so it tells a better story.
It tells a better story,
And
and that, and I
funnier
think
story. I love
teaching
that.
writing all these years and
Okay.
getting kids, that's the thing about teaching writing, is using the art with it helps them get that out, and then getting over that hump of whatever you do is okay. And
Yes.
I personally, I mean, I think everybody does, had to get over that hump and be comfortable with showing your work,
Mhm.
which I have
Oh,
started to do at my job.
oh, good. I'm glad to
Well,
hear
you've got there's a mixed media with the scarecrow.
that. Mhm. Yep.
Well, I did that. He's giant, and I
Oh,
did that
cool.
for my bulletin board. And
Awesome.
people walk by, oh, where did you get that? And I said, no, I did that. So it's helping me get out of my comfort zone, because eventually I can retire in the next 4 to 5 years, by the way. And I would love to either write these social stories and illustrate them. Well, I kind of want to start that now, but do something. I don't know what, but do something.
Yeah, creative.
I don't know.
That is awesome. I love that for you. And um someone who also had a late start to art, which
Oh,
sounds like you did as well. I mean,
yes.
I didn't do anything until I had all my 3 kids already and was well on to adult.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I had no idea.
I wanted to be Jane Goodall. That was my life goal. Mhm.
I could see I could understand that.
I wanted to study monkeys. Um,
I'm in that too.
yeah. So this was never on my radar. So
Mhm.
another thing, there's so many of us who like start really late, and then it's like this
Yeah.
passion is there, but also we have to, in order to make things our own, we have to like constantly like be relying on certain outside influences to help us do that. So that is so super cool. So thank you for sharing that with us. I think accessing your kids' imagination and the storytelling, I'm so bad at that. That's like my biggest weakness, I think. I'm terrible at that and I never incorporate it. So this is also why yours inspire me personally, because I'm
Well,
like,
thank
God,
you.
I need to do that. Like that's so awesome.
Well, and I never even until somebody in the group, I can't remember who it was, but had said, "I love how you told the story with one of them," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." I never even thought of it. I just thought they were funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it for sure is a whole thing, and I'm missing it. So thank you. That's
I think it was
really
this
helpful.
one
Oh
that
my
kind of really encouraged me. I think she said she saw this first and went, and it's just like in the characters that you develop, looking at their facial expressions, and I'm like, well, why do they have those facial
God. Mhm.
expressions?
which seems so obvious, but I'm telling you, my brain does not go there because I am like, my creativity is like, I just draw and I'm done. Like my cup is full next. Like I don't even go there. So I have to like really like access that part of my brain and talk to people who are good at that so I can like I need to borrow some of that. I think it's so inspirational. It's super
Oh,
cool.
I see the work of others where they're like, "Oh, I take this from it," which I've done, and I'll have to send you pictures of work that I have done,
Yeah, yeah.
and that I've never showed anybody, but I'll show you. And I've done a couple recently, like your mermaid in the background. I've done that mermaid recently, and then I added in another picture to it to hang in our bathroom, and
I need to see that. Yeah, I need to
I'll
see
send you
all
that.
this, Marianne. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Do you ever feel guilty for copying something, or has anyone else ever made you feel guilty? Because that's a huge thing that happens as well.
I feel well, yeah, I guess a little guilty that I didn't come up with it, but I also have to look at it as this is how I'm learning. And it's for
Well,
me, you
yeah,
know?
but this is what I want to really like fight against, this guilt. I think it's such a creativity killer,
Oh,
and
yeah, it is.
I don't think that anyone should be feeling guilty about it. It doesn't mean that I
Mhm.
want people to like make something exactly and go sell it, but it just in terms of like creativity and copying to learn, I think
Mhm.
that's like the only way there is to learn. So we should.
Yeah, well, and I think that's how you get started too, is by learning doing that.
Yes.
Is you copy first. I
Yes.
mean, I see kids do it. They don't just come up with that. We teach them how to copy shapes.
Yes. Right.
So it's okay for them to do it, and then they
Right.
turn that into whatever. It's
Right. Right.
amazing the things I've seen over the years, but you have to start somewhere. And if I need a copy, like how to do a portrait, for instance, like, okay, I haven't done Claire yet from Scotland and Stones because I'm
Mhm.
nervous. But since that lesson, y'all have come up with the lessons on using the portrait colors
Mhm.
and the eyes, the eyelashes, and how to do the face. Well, I'm going to practice those first and then do hers. So
Smart.
it's kind of that, and I haven't been in the mind frame yet to do that. I am when I get back. I'm going to get back on the Scotland and Stones things and get going
Mhm.
again. But it's yeah, it's just that practice piece and feeling comfortable, and it's okay if it's not right the first time, and it's
Yeah.
okay if you erase it all and start over, just like I'm gonna do with this one, but
100%. And I'll just expound on that a little further in case people don't understand what you're talking about.
Mhm,
So Marianne is in the three clubs, and then I also am doing a course with Lucy Briding separately, which is
mhm.
Outlander inspired because we're super dorks like that.
That's
And
okay.
so what Marianne is doing is taking different lessons on different
Mhm,
aspects, and she's going to brush up on those separate skills because I have recently we've done separate watercolor
uh-huh,
tone lessons in the mixed media society. We've done I did like 2.5 hours on eyelashes in the mixed media society. And then yeah, putting some of those together before doing a portrait. And then you've already had your portrait lessons in the Fun Fab Drawing Club as well. So
mhm,
basically your solution to feeling guilty about copying is getting a skill here, getting a skill here, getting a skill
mhm,
here, and then
mhm.
combine all these different things together. And then you do already have this sort of natural ability to help make things their
Put
own.
it together and then
Yeah. So all the things. That's so much to admire about you, Mary. And I think that is
well,
the super,
thank
super
you.
cool. What would you say to someone who is scared to make a project their own because they're worried about doing it wrong?
Yeah, that's hard because I have to ask myself that too. Is it kind of goes with just do it and you can't worry about what anybody else thinks. I mean, it really comes down to not really caring what others think. And I think over the years, as I've gotten older and been through things in my life, I really don't care. I do it. It's for me. My family sees it. I'm starting to get comfortable with, putting it out there, which most people who know me do not know I do this. But I think it's not wrong.
Yes.
It's not wrong. It's yours,
And it's from your heart as well. Even if
and
you
it's from
copy,
your heart.
even if you trace, it is still you're still the one that's taking the action. I well said. I could not agree more. And I feel like adults are much way worse than that than kids. And adults are the
Oh yeah.
ones that need talking to and not the kids, which I think is so interesting. What is one tip you would give another member who wants to add more of themselves into the art? Do you have any, just like one thing that might help someone who is like grappling with wanting to make something their own? Because so many people do totally struggle with this.
You need to figure out what you like. If you like animals, make that your own and incorporate, just like kind of like this, or incorporate something with it or not. If you like people watching, well, what do you see somebody doing when they're people watching? And I think this is where I get some of my stuff from. And then just things that you like. If it's food, draw food. If it's
Love that.
landscapes, like I'm sitting here looking at the Atlantic Ocean and the
Yes.
Iceland mountains right now. Guess what's going to happen later on is I'm going to be taking some pictures
Yeah.
and I'm going to sit over there, my husband and son are watching TV and sketch that out. Because the other thing I've challenged myself with is doing charcoals, because I was just always amazed with my dad's charcoals. And
Yeah.
when I did your class with the horse and
Mm-hmm.
how it came out, I even shocked myself. I actually framed it, put it in our bedroom. I was like, "Ooh, I think I'm going to frame this one." But
Did
yeah,
you
I
do
even
the
shocked
charcoal?
myself.
Did you do the charcoal in the sock?
Oh God, yeah, it's
Okay.
still in the sock. I have a tub. Oh, you
Yeah,
should.
don't touch it. Yeah,
Yeah,
keep it in
one
there.
day you'll look at my art. I'll show you my art room. You'll be like, "Oh my God!" But yeah, no, it has a tub. All my charcoal stuff in there. I've got other charcoals. We went to Colorado a few years back. Went to the Garden of the Gods, and I was taking pictures. And one of the birds there was a red tail hawk. And so, and I'll send you that picture too, but I did it all in different color charcoals and I buried the hawk in it. And why I cannot tell you, but I wanted to make sure in the Garden of the Gods, there's what they call these kissing camels. And my
Hmm,
husband just loved that. So I took a picture of it and then I drew it out,
okay. That's
and then,
smart. So incorporating an idea from over here, an
yeah,
idea from over
take
here.
pictures and just things that you like. I always did animals because I've enjoyed it. I did a sketch of a gorilla with its baby. This was like eons ago. And then I put it on a big, 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 big canvas. And I wish I had kept it. Way back when, I'm one that will just
Yep.
paint over a canvas because I'm
Yeah.
like kind of done with it. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, I'm bad, bad, bad about that. Then
No, that's not bad. That's good. That's just
my mother
upsetting.
yells at me, "Why did you do that?" And I'm like,
Oh,
"Well, or paint over a mural I did." So yeah. So, but yeah, I've had to really come out of my shell a lot. And your courses have certainly challenged me, and I mean, it's good for me. It's
good.
good for here.
Good.
It's good for here.
It is.
You got to have both,
Yep.
and it's good for that stress.
Right? It's like the cheapest
It's
therapy in the whole world. I know. I know.
according to my husband, it's not that cheap, but that's okay.
I know, right? It does. It has many
He'll
positive
get over
side
it.
effects.
He'll get over
He
it.
will get over it. He doesn't even know. What has making art your own, what has that taught about, has that taught you anything about yourself? Especially being like a late art to the
Late
table.
bloomer, yeah. Oh, I can do it. And it's okay with what I've done. I'd never even have thought in a million years of anybody. I just posted them for fun and something that, hey, look, this is what I did. Maybe y'all could do this too. And never, and I'm looking at it, never in a million years did I think, oh, these are cool. I'm like, really? But just having fun with them,
Mm-hmm.
just having fun with them is I've
Yeah.
enjoyed that. And like I
Yeah.
said, I think I have four more to go and I'll have all the characters. And when you
I
come out with your next book, I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do with those.
I'm in the middle of a goose right now. So
I saw some of your stuff that you've posted and I'm like, I am dying. What am I? And in my head, I'm like, what am I going to do with those? Because there will be something.
it's coming along. It's coming
Oh
along.
my God.
There's a couple of birds. I'm like, this might have to just be a whole different bird book. I don't know. Maybe I have no birds in the barnyard
And I
besties, and they're
think
all birds.
when you draw, sometimes when you're drawing faces, you incorporate some of your personality in that. You'll incorporate more of the happiness or, kind of how you feel. Years ago, I did And it was a picture inspired by a Pinterest picture, and it was Red Riding Hood, but it was very dark, and that's where I
Mhm.
was at that time. And I'll send it to you too. And it's hanging up, and it's just to remind me that at one time this is there, but
Right.
I've always did this, and so it's just as a reminder, hey, things got better.
Yeah.
But I like it too because I painted it over another painting. I had flipped it upside down, so some of there's like some gold metallic in it. Well, I
Mhm.
kept it into this painting, and I think it just,
Yeah.
so yeah,
That's very cool. Yeah. Ways to layer in meaning upon meaning.
layer it in there. Yeah, throw it in there.
That's
Have fun with
very
it.
well, and that's another oh, Jesus. I just had a heart attack. I just let me
Okay.
I got like kids and I don't know, there's
If
loud
you have
jumping.
children and animals, this is your
Well,
life.
I
Let me
keep
tell you.
shutting my door to my studio, but Maggie knows how to open my door. So then she barges in, but she doesn't close the door because she's a dog. So then the door is open, and then I have to like
And
get
then
up
you're,
and close
it
it, and
goes.
then
Mhm.
anyways,
I
So
do know.
sorry, I didn't mean to like be jump scared in the middle of that
You're
sentence.
fine. No,
I
you're
don't even know
fine.
what I didn't know what I was even saying. So what are you excited to create next? And we can end it there because I want to
Um,
know what's coming up in Marianne's world, in creative
Well,
world.
other than finishing these, like I said, I've got a few left, and then working on the Scotland and stones and doing those. Those have been wonderfully challenging. I never did watercolor until I started taking a class. I always did whatever I could do with acrylics. I did it with acrylics.
Mhm.
If I had to throw texture in there, metallics in there, you name it, I did it. But and I'd stick it on the wall, whatever it was I was doing.
Love it.
One of the things I am going to do this summer, and it kind of comes off this a little bit, other than doing some illustrating and eventually doing my own thing, especially when I can retire in a few years and I have time to think about it,
Yay.
is doing it on the computer, graphic art on the computer.
Oh, awesome. Like Procreate
I've
stuff.
got like Procreate. I've ordered a couple of books and invested in a whole new iPad that I'm sitting here working on right now, and just to teach myself how to do that. I think that's just something to learn to
Yeah,
do, on top of this, or taking pictures of this and then putting it in that, and what can you do with that,
fun.
and that helps, as you know. I wouldn't even know where to begin if I had to put a book together to sell it. But, how do you take it from here to here to here? So I will be learning how to do that process.
That's amazing. That really is amazing. I actually have no desire to do anything on the computer. Like I'm too. I love that I'm old school. People are like, "Don't you want to do that?" I'm like, "No, I don't." Like everyone else can do that. But what I was gonna say that's so cool about it, and which I think is a common thread between all of us late bloomers too,
Mm-hmm.
is that like I love that we all in our community,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, we're all here because we want to like keep learning and we like love keep
Mm-hmm.
having more challenges as we get older
Mm-hmm.
dig into on a personal level is so satisfying. It is for me anyways. Like I love it. Not that I want to dig into that because I don't, but like my own
Well,
thing
I
that I
need
like
it.
to
It's
sound really
like
fun.
we've completely remodeled the house. Like when we got married, I sold mine, invested in his house. We completely remodeled it, did the work. I did all the artwork for it, or the painting and everything for it. And then, okay, well, that's done. I'm getting close to the end of my teaching career. Well, that's done. Now what?
Now what? Yeah, yeah. And
You
yeah,
know.
important to have something
So,
that's satisfying and has a purpose
oh,
and
absolutely.
getting better at being an artist is awesome. And it's
Well, and
like
like I said, writing those social stories to help kids, and I write them for other teachers and things like that. Like I said, I always use clip art, which is kind of like, bleh. So I thought, well, why not do it myself and make
Mhm.
my own thing?
Yep.
So a lot of this to me in my head right now is practice for that.
Great. I cannot wait to see your next chapter and see where you
Mhm.
go. I hope you'll keep sharing with us
I will.
some
Thank
updates
you.
as you
Thank
go and
you.
grow. It's like the most exciting thing ever. And I also want to thank you on behalf of anyone who has parented a pre-K kid. Thank you for what you're doing. I just need to shout out to all teachers. My sister's a teacher. Oh, I have 3 kids, but like I do not know how you do your job. I do really don't. So I
No.
want to say thank you on behalf of all moms that you do what you do.
Oh no. Pre-K kiddos are the best. They're little sponges. They don't think they can't do anything. Even when they get a little older, it's like somehow between sixth and seventh grade or fifth and sixth grade, something changes in the brain, and then suddenly all that self doubt
Yes,
comes in, and it is heartbreaking, Missy.
it is.
I saw it with my own kids.
Yeah, oh yes, I did as
And we're
well.
still dealing with it, we're still
Mhm.
dealing with it. And I'm like, ugh. But yeah, but when they're little, they have all this stuff and their brains are still being wired, and you can get
Yeah,
that brain creative and doing. Kids are like, I can't do this. Yes, you can.
yes, you can. Yeah.
Yes, you
Well,
can. You
I
can
think
do
that
it.
that is amazing, and I really do.
Thank
So,
you.
absolutely, and thank you so much for taking time on your vacation to talk to us. And
Oh,
this has been
yeah.
so
No,
fun for me. And
no, I could not say no. I felt honored when you messaged me. I was like, I'm like, Mike, listen to this.
I was like, I gotta pick this lady's brain. This stuff is the coolest. So, so, so fun. Well, thank you so much. It was a super pleasure. Thank you so much for saying yes to hanging out with me this morning for a little bit. I really appreciate it.
I actually saw the club update video this afternoon.
Oh, yeah. I was talking about you. I really am so excited to talk to you when I saw those spouses. I was like dying. I was like, okay, that is like next level genius. And I was like, I have to talk to her immediately. It's like an emergency. So thank you for
That
letting me.
that was my son's suggestion.
Oh,
Yeah,
was
he's like, "Mum, you've got to do the husbands. You need to do the grandpas."
it?
Like,
That is.
get off, Christopher. Don't be dumb. I'm not going to do that. I can't do that. Yes, you can, Mum.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I love your son. He sounds like my sons because when I was doing my How to Draw Fun Fab Faces, my first book, and then I did another one follow up, and at the time I had three small boys, and they were like, hello, like, what about the where are the dudes? And I was like, oh, you're so right, you're so right, my bad. So I published How to Draw Fun Fab Fellas for them because they were like, where's the guys? So that is, I guess, and you said your son is 40, right?
Yeah.
So basically, they never grow up.
Oh, no, and he likes to, my son. I I don't know whether to like it or be embarrassed or flattered or what, but he actually, thank you, he likes to go and brag to his mates and show them what mum's been doing with her art.
Okay, that is adorable, and I could not love that anymore. I hope my kids are still doing that when they're 40. That is amazing.
I'm yeah, I'm really quite chuffed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he
proud of
bragged
you.
about me. It's quite sweet.
It's
Yeah,
super sweet. Oh, I love that so, so much. Um, okay, let's dig right into the meat of this. Please
sure.
tell me, how did you create your spouses? Because I already explained a little bit that like I give traceables. Like for my everything in the mixed media society, people can trace. So my first question is for all of the grandmas that you've done, did you freehand those or did you trace
Oh
those?
God, no.
Okay.
Absolutely not. I took screenshots and then put them into Procreate,
Oh,
and
okay.
traced over them like that, because I couldn't get the size
Size.
boards either.
Yeah, which is
Um,
totally what fine and what you whatever you need to do to get that working.
yeah, so
Yeah.
basically what I ended up doing was, once I went into Pinterest. I mean, I had a bit of an idea of what I wanted because I wanted to make sure each one matched.
The for the yes,
Yeah,
for
because
the
I was
spouses.
calling them the evolution of the nanas because you started off with the real old fuddy-duddy one, and
Yeah.
then slowly they started to evolve into the more modern and then the ultra hip, almost punk
Yes.
rocker one.
Yeah.
Um, and so I sort of saw that the husband should do that as
Yeah.
well.
When you nailed
So
it. You nailed it.
I I went on to Pinterest, and that's what I was looking for, and once I had those ideas and I had 50 million pictures, I, actually went on to one of those AI things
Mhm.
and said, "This is what I want," kind of thing, and I threw a few ideas around, and
Mhm.
then once it generated some pictures, I just sort of put it together from that. I
Oh
drag bits and pieces into Procreate and
Nice.
trace the parts I want and change what I didn't want. And that's how I got it.
That is genius. So it was a little bit of here, a little bit of here, a little bit of here, and then you puzzled them all together. And then
Yep,
you traced that once you had the final designs.
yep, yep.
That's the way to do it, Annette. Like seriously, that's so smart.
And
That's
keeping it simple. I mean, some of the pictures that were generated were quite, I guess, although they didn't look complex, if you tried to do them, would have been.
Mhm.
Um, so it was a case of keeping them simple and then also finding little quirky things to add to them, which gave them that bit of personality. You know
Yes.
what, like they've all got well, one's got nose hair, they've all got ear hair.
That
Um,
is hilarious. Can you hold one up to the camera so we can see? Because you can't really, that's sort of, those details are lost. Oh my gosh. I need to see. Look at just how
he's
amazing
got
that guy is.
his ear hair is there.
And is it textured like his all his other hair?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is hilarious
And
and
his
also
jumper,
genius.
I, actually downloaded a picture of, cable net, and then I cut it out in the shape of a jumper.
Yeah, that is genius. It
So,
looks
and
like
then
oh
his
my
slippers,
he's wearing
I,
Smurf
drew
slippers.
the Smurfs because I was thinking, "God, he's so boring." And then blue, I'm thinking, "Oh, slippers, yes, it's gotta be Smurfs if it's blue."
It
So, yeah, that's how he ended up like that.
that is
And I just
hilarious.
sort of drew them and cut them out and stuck them on. I love this old guy.
What is not to love about that guy? He's ready to rock and roll. Look
He is 100%, and his laces and everything match his missus,
oh, of
and
course.
the colours in hers, and he's got the little stud things
Oh, I
on.
see those are like pearls in relief, but also
Yeah,
with
they're like
studs.
little silver stick-on things.
That is
So
so
and
smart.
he ended up with some tats because I actually had a mark there, which wasn't supposed to be there, so
Oh, how smart is that? To turn that into a happy accident?
yes, exactly. So,
I
yeah, and he's got the chest hair and the nose hair
oh my god,
and
I
the
just
ear
think
hair.
that is just genius. So is this
And they
the
all
one
had big noses because all the old men had big noses and they were red, so that had to go into it. Yeah.
here we
And
are.
I had him with the long flowing hair and I wanted him facing his wife, with
Yeah.
his head thrown back like hers kind of thing.
Oh
Yeah.
it's
So,
just it is just too good. So that's the third one we hadn't seen yet, I think in the Facebook group. Do you wanna show your final memo? Right?
that was it.
That was it. Okay.
That one and that one, those 2.
Oh, those then that was No Nonsense Nana was your last. Okay. And then
Yes.
that guy. I mean, they are a literal perfect match. They are
Yes.
literally
Yeah.
perfect. I am dying inside. Okay, that is amazing. Thank you for sharing how exactly you pieced together your inspiration. So it was a combination of your son encouraging the heck out of you is basically what that is, which is so adorable and also good for him for knowing that that's also like your passion project. So a little mom. If he
Yeah.
hadn't said that, I'm guessing those spouses wouldn't exist right now if he hadn't been like, come on, where is that right? So
Exactly. And he's just
amazing.
going, come on. And I'm just sort of thinking, well, you know what? If they don't turn out,
Yeah, no one
doesn't
needs to
matter.
know. And I think that's a really good argument too of why it's cool to share your work because it does influence what other people how they react to that, right? And they love it and they want more or maybe they have a, some other ideas that they would trigger, who knows. So I would like to know about your past. Have you always been creative or is this like a late in life passion like it is for myself or and other people or have you always been creative?
Um, I think the spark has been there, but it was sort of put out a bit due to sort of, I had a family to raise, things like that. COVID was the thing that stirred the pot up again, but throughout life, I've sort of always had that creative spark, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But you
But
didn't.
I love the mixed media. I was doing an awful lot of watercolor. Um, but I guess the one thing that I found about that is you really seem to, well, I was adopting a really perfectionist approach to it.
Hmm.
Um, so, you make a mistake and you feel that hours of work have gone down the drain kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where I find with the mixed media, yeah, you can get your hands in, get
Yay!
dirty, you make a mistake, who cares?
Yeah.
I love gesso. I've got this massive bottle of gesso now that I can pull out and cover over mistakes with, and yeah, I just really enjoy it. Just getting in there and having fun and losing myself in it.
Having a play. I know. I I could not agree more. Those are all the reasons that I can't part with it as well. Um, do you often add your own twists to the lessons at Awesome Art School, or like what did you, or do you do you sometimes you follow it exactly? Do sometimes you go your own way? Like how do the lessons inspire you? Because and there's no wrong answer, by the way. Any
I
just
I think one of my things is I do like a bit of confidence in that regard. So only more lately that I have started doing a bit more of my own thing. I mean, I've done stuff before, things for like my grandchildren, things like that, where I've done my own works, and like those cat pictures. But yeah, I seem to think that I have to follow things exactly, and I think that's the wrong mindset to get into. It doesn't have to be the same.
Yeah, well, I don't think there is a wrong mindset. I think there's no wrong to that. I think you can do whatever makes fills your heart with joy is the right way to do that. So if for somebody
Yeah.
that's what they like to do, I'm like a copier. Like I love to like nail it exactly. That like fills my heart. But then some people feel like it's not theirs until they've turned it into something else. So that's like they're all valid ways to kind of create. So there wasn't a trick question.
Mm.
I'm curious kind of where people are and for no reason, just out of I enjoy learning what lights people's hearts on fire because I know it can be really different from person to person.
Ah,
And
yeah.
I think it's all really interesting. And there's other people who like watch the lesson and then run off and do something completely different
Oh,
just
yeah.
because like they saw one thing that sparked something else and then they run off and do that. So it's I find it all of it really really interesting.
I have got a book full of mixed media lessons, which are almost identical apart from the paper that I've used in the background.
Yeah, yeah, and that's fine. That's what they're there for
That's
too.
how I've learned how to
Yes,
do it.
yes,
Um,
100%.
but I guess too, for me, I think, oh, it's not the same. Like the button girl that I did, I've really screwed the eyelashes up. She looks like she's got a couple of feather dusters or
Oh,
spiders shoved on her eyes.
well, you'll have to do
Um,
more and more until you get it.
so because I copy, if I don't nail it, I feel like I've failed in some ways.
If you don't nail it, after
Yeah.
trying to copy. Yeah, I get that. I get that. I feel the same way when I do things because I think
Yeah.
that's like a different objective when you're trying to like match something. So that makes perfect sense. But I know inside that's not real. Like it doesn't really matter and that we're practicing and learning. But I do understand that feeling
Mm.
100% because
Yeah.
it's a different
So
game you're playing when you're copying to match versus when you're just like what you're doing, which was like making a funny guy and going off on your own. So it's even more freeing to go off script, I think, because then you don't have the comparison game to kind of judge you whether or not you nailed it or not. But
I was actually blown away by the comments, the amount of comments on the Facebook, it was just so lovely. And I haven't had a chance to go back on and, tick the like button. It's just been, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
well, deservedly so, because it really you knocked all of our socks off with your creativity. So
I
that's
was,
really so
yeah,
cool.
just
And
gobsmacked.
I'm sure they and this interview will inspire other people to maybe go off script as well, and come up with something new. I bet it's already inspired me. So I think that is
Look,
cool.
I think, yeah, if they can, good, and you do whatever suits you. I
Absolutely.
I think
I
there's no rules.
I 100% agree. I 100% agree. I asked this to Marianne. I'm going to ask you as well, which is, um, this is advice for others because a lot of people are, they feel bad if they're not they screwed up something specific like eyelashes at the end, right? And you're just like, oh, I got so close. Or they feel like they're not creative because they're not going off script more. And like I said before, like, I'm a staunch believer in, like, whatever fills your cup is a valid way to do art.
Yeah.
So for those who want to maybe go off script and do their own thing but they're afraid to, what would you say to that person, because if they're scared to make something their own because they're worried about doing it wrong? What do you think might help them kind of get over that, as
I
someone who's done it successfully?
think it's a case of you've got nothing to lose. Just go and do it. Have fun and enjoy it.
It
No
is.
one else has to like it. That's what it comes down to,
Mhm.
you
It's
know?
so
And
true
and yeah, go and do it.
because it's fun. Yes, that
Yeah,
that was what Marianne said too. She was like, "Who cares? You have to not care what people think." It's hard though. People do.
it
They
is. And that's one of the things I think that we have a tendency to compare ourselves to
Mhm.
others.
I know.
We shouldn't.
I know. Well, I hope
Um,
that your words really think into someone so that maybe they won't so
yeah,
much, or they understand the priorities, which is
yeah, it's
just
just a
joy.
case of
Yeah.
go and have fun doing it. That's what it's all about.
Amen.
And like I've had a couple of friends say, well, you should start up a market stall or, do this, sell them and that. And I'm like, no, I do this because I love it. If
Mhm.
I used to do lead lighting years ago, um, and I was selling it, and it got to the point I remember at Christmas time once I had to make these roses, and I had to make 12 of them, and I ended up hating it, and I stopped doing it after that.
Right.
Yeah, because the enjoyment went from it.
Right. I'm the same. That's why I don't sell my work, because people are like, "Well, how you could make all this money if you sold your work." I'm like, "That's not why I make it. I just make it because it makes me happy and I love to teach,
Yeah,
and that's it. I'm
yeah,
good." They're like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "No, like, really, I just do it for the joy. That's
yeah.
so fulfilling enough. And it's a lot. It's amazing." So I love connecting with other people who have the same mindset. It is so makes me so warm and fuzzy. I love it. Okay, but say there is a member who actually really wants to strive to maybe start doing a spin-off series or doing something else that is their own. Do you have maybe one or two tips you could give to them that would maybe help them to do just that? Maybe like what you were saying
Um,
before about pulling from different references, or did you have any other tips?
well, I've got, for example, where is it? I've one of my friends wants one. She's just moving into a house, so I'm doing one as a warming present. And you can't see anything here, but these are the plans for them.
Nice. Oh, good.
So it's just doing that, and then I mean, it's a scribble. It's the biggest mess going, but it's there. It's a starting point. It's just some ideas that I scribbled down and wrote down.
So maybe
Then
having
you
a
go searching for the bits and pieces.
so having a sketchbook going on the side where you can record your thoughts and then
Yeah.
maybe build on those later. I think a lot of people don't do that. I don't do that. That's very smart. I should do that.
Well, I only did it because she's really special. She's a special friend, so I thought I've got to make this look good. But she goes, a resemblance to me and Kirby would be good, and I'm thinking, you for real?
Yo, here we go. Oh, I bet. I bet.
So, yeah, it's not going to quite be like that, but yeah, it's just, I guess, if you've, I think too, one thing I have found that if I'm doing something and I do it for someone, I normally think of things that I know that they like, I'm inspired by. So for example, V's person that I'm doing, she loves pink and red, so I'm doing the dress in pink and red. I'm
Perfect.
having her chicken in it. She's got a rooster
That.
called Cletus,
Right.
so he's in it. She's a hairdresser, so she's going to have a hairdryer that's shooting out love hearts because she's just one of those type of people. So it's just, I don't know, trying to relate it to the person too, I think. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're cobbling together like a story that's related to her and all the things that she likes as well. Does that
Yeah.
sound right?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
That's a
you
better
can.
way of putting it.
Well,
Um,
you can thank Marianne because she's the one who talked about that for her work, and that's the only reason I was able to put that so eloquently. That was all from Marianne's
yeah.
interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that's what she does, and that's exactly what you've just described. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's my biggest weakness as a teacher is doing that. So I'm going to try to be better at that going forward because I think it is its own superpower. So you guys are
I
ahead of me on
think
that.
you have got lots of superpowers. I
Well,
wouldn't have
crediting
dreamed of
story is
being
not.
able to do that.
Well, I don't. So I'm inspired by you both to do more of that. I have two more questions for you.
Sure.
If you're up for it. What has making art your own taught you about yourself?
That I can do it. Yeah. Don't think you can't. Yeah.
And how does
I've
that
got
make
more capabilities, I think, than what I gave myself credit for.
so feel
Yeah.
more confident, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet
Yeah.
you that snowballs pretty well into your next projects after that as
It
well.
has over the past, I guess, month, 6 weeks, I've started drawing faces and that too, which is something I've never been able to do. And I've surprised myself.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
So
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
That's so cool. Well, that's
And
no
I figured out that when you're drawing the oval, because I'm left-handed and I'm an overwriter, and I find it really awkward to do the oval, I've got to flip the page sideways to
there you
do it.
go. That's a hot tip for all of our left-handers. And yeah, whatever you got to do to get it on there. It doesn't matter, right? You draw upside
Yeah,
down if that works.
yeah.
So, and that
So
means, yeah,
I think when you do something well, yeah, it just gives you confidence, that bit of a boost. Yeah,
I think that's wonderful, and that will only lead to good things. I think. I don't think you can ever. There's no downside to having more confidence, and it sounds
mm,
like that would make you braver to maybe try new things or keep going, maybe do a little bit more, which then will also lead to more art, which then makes you better just by practicing, right? So it's like kind of this positive snowball effect is my guess. Are you excited to what are you excited to create next? You did your series, you just wrapped up the granny series and you sounds like you're starting on something for your
yeah.
friend. Is there anything else that in the clubs that you're going to do next, or any personal projects that you have lined up next?
I'm going to do the new button lady. Yes.
She's my favorite. She's the easiest of the three, too.
Is she?
She is.
I've got to practice the eyelashes first, and I actually did
Yes,
print
I
that
was just
sheet
gonna grab
out.
my sheet. It's right next to me. Okay, amazing. Did you see the last live when we did all the eyes and the eyelashes? Did you see the
I found it tonight, and I was going to watch it before I attack it, so
Yeah,
that
that's a good one. It's all we did. I think I did 2.5 hours of just
yeah.
eyelashes. So I think that will inspire you. You can draw along with me as I'm doing it on my sheet in
Oh,
those
good.
that replay as well.
Oh.
Oh, you're gonna do great. It's just practice. Are you using the Pentel Pocket Brush Pen, or are you using
I
something?
do have one, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You
But I
don't have
don't know
to
if
use
it's
that
because
one.
I'm a left-hander overwriter that I
Oh,
can't do
right,
it properly.
right. Well, mine always you'll see in when you watch the replay that my left side eyes are go really wonky, and then the right one is always perfect. And so for me, it's like a
Ah,
matching challenge, because just
yeah,
like you said, like the tilt of the paper is different when you do, so we all struggle. I'm still practicing, and
yeah,
but that cheat sheet for practice is super handy. So I'm glad you have that by your side, because it really is.
yeah.
It really is.
So, yeah.
Yay! And is there anything else you want to share before we go? I have a college tour I'm taking my youngest son Max on this morning. But is there anything that you wanted to end with before we go?
Mm, I don't think so. The only thing was one of the old men, the one who's got the walking stick, I actually used a chopstick.
Stop it. Can you hold that up? I need to see that right now. Oh my goodness. That was like tailor made for that guy.
And well, it was, but my
That is
husband had to chop it off at the end.
that is
I think
hilarious.
they're little elephants. We bought them in Thailand. And I sort of thought, oh, how boring if I just painted on. So, yeah, I
I'm
said,
really glad
yeah,
that you showed that, because I didn't take notice at all that was even a 3D element. So I am so glad that you just did that.
mm,
That's amazing. That's
yeah.
amazing. Well, it was so lovely to chat with you this morning. Oh my God, how awesome is Annette? Like, talk about creativity off the charts. That is bananas. I got so much insight from that and so much inspiration. I have to remember all of those tips. So super cool. So let's wrap things up. We talked about a lot of things in today's video. To kind of put a bow on it, I did make, as I referenced earlier, 3 really crazy meaty PDFs. The first one is 20 ways to make your own. Hopefully you've been taking some notes, because we got some really great additional ideas that aren't on here from our friends, Annette and Marianne. Thank you guys again for saying yes. I also included 10 reasons why using references is not cheating, because it is not. And it's why I only teach with references, because it makes all of my students better artists. But again, this whole video is about also taking this to the next step. And when it comes to references, where do I get my references for my books and all of my videos? Well, I compiled a gigantic list for you as well. So when you opt in for these 2, you actually get this one the next day. So tons, these are clickable links to all my favorite private places, so you know exactly where you can go online to grab above board references, so you don't need to feel guilty, you don't need to sweat and worry about commercial licenses. You can get everything that you need to create the art of your dreams, so you can start making art your own and using references to launch your own artistic journey and help you go wherever it is that you would love to go. I will see you next Wednesday with a new video. Collect this video right here if you want to see my story and to prove again that I am also a late bloomer. So if you are late to the game, a Gen Xer or a boomer like me, and like our ladies that we spoke to today, please know you're not alone. And if we can do it, you can too.